Hello. My name is Janelli and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have another nail art look that I'm sharing how I went about it. And this time it's a nail art that I did to celebrate Tyler, who is known as Evil Twin Nails over on Instagram and on YouTube. So this look kind of embodies a lot of the stuff that Tyler likes. I also predominantly made it a flame nail art look because that's what I think he's known for, low-key. He's a great water marbling witch too, so there's that. But I think flames embody Tyler, I guess. So without further ado, let's get into the art. Alright, so for this look, I'm thinking of incorporating a lot of stuff. I'm going to go in with some jellies because I want to do a lacy gradient with him. And I'm going in with a magnetic topper and I'm going to do it in the velvet effect because that's what Tyler likes. And I'm going to be using this neon green to make flames because he is known to do flame nail art a lot, in my opinion, at least. All of these products were sent to me by hellooo as gifted PR. There's no obligation to post or create content. This is out of my own free will. And what I'm trying to do is incorporate a lot of the things that he likes. For instance, teal and purple, the velvet magnetic effect, and then him being known as like doing a lot of flame nail art. So nail prep, I'm going to be showcasing that a little bit here because I forgot to do it in the other video. But usually I wipe my hands down with isopropyl alcohol, and that's what that spray was. And then I go in with acetone, and for me the acetone's in a little jar here. And using a cleanup brush, I just go ahead and remove any extra oil that remained after the isopropyl alcohol. And I do this because I think it helps adhere the polish better, which is kind of funny because, hey, guess what? My nail art usually doesn't stay long on me because I go in with a peely base. And the peely base of choice is Baby Girl Lacquer's Glitter Be Gone. It's my absolute favorite one so far. It applies cloudy or white here, but dries down clear and matte, which is a nice like indicator signal for me that I'm good to move on to the next step. Now, when I say my nail art doesn't last long on me, it's not because of my application technique or the nail prep or what have you. It's because I don't let nail art last long on my nails because I am ready to move on to the next set of nail art that I want to try. And honestly, that's kind of why I really love Peel Off Base Coat. It allows me to play around with the polish and then admire my work. Sure, I'm recording it, taking pictures or what have you, and that's my memory of this nail art. But also the peely base allows this nail art to live a little longer because it's in my peely jar. I'm not too pressed or bothered by the fact that my nail art doesn't stay long. There are instances of where I'm like, damn, really wish I didn't use Peel Off Base Coat on this one, but it is what it is. So after applying the peel off base, I'm going in with hellooo's Magnetic Taco. Again, gifted PR, no obligation to post create content. And I'm going to use the horseshoe magnet, and this one is from Mooncat. Also gifted PR, but again, no correlation or obligation to create content or post. And this is how I'm going to create the velvet effect. I'm only going to be using one coat of the Magnetic Taco, and you might have noticed that I didn't go in with an actual base polish, like a base coat, because my theory is that the Magnetic Taco is going to act as my protection of sorts from the colored jellies. And in my mind, it didn't make sense for me to go in with another coat of a base coat. But also, again, I'm not wearing this nail look for long. So for the velvet effect, if you have a horseshoe magnet like I do here, on my pinky specifically, I like to use a little sponge just because my pinky's smaller and it wanted to be on the even playing field, I guess, as the other ones. But yeah, I just place my finger in between the middle part of the horseshoe magnet and I magnetize it for 1.5 minutes. However, I'm not like a pro at removing my finger from the magnet after the timer has gone because I am distracted. I'm usually watching shows. When the alarm goes off, I usually like dismiss it, but then I kind of forget I dismissed it and continue doing my thing. So times may vary. Now, after I did one coat of the Magnetic Taco and velvetized all of my nails, I decided to play around with something new I had purchased. And this is DRK Nails Seal Glaze. And initially I had purchased it because I thought it was a water-based polish, but aqua is not in the ingredients list. I also remember reading a lot on Reddit and other socials that this seal glaze is a good like magnetic holder. So I'm testing it and I'm scared. And I only did one coat of that on all the nails, and on the pinky, like that was my test nail, I guess. And I realized that I was actually very scared and I went back to the magnetic just in case. But once I noticed that like the magnetization wasn't moving about, I'm like, okay, this is doing the thing that it's supposed to do. The thing with the DRK seal glaze is that it acts cloudy at first, but does dry down clear. So don't worry, don't freak out if you're like, whoa, my nail's a different color. So yeah, I just went ahead and did this to all the nails. I just waited until it was dry to touch, honestly. When it turned cleared, I started like poking about it with my other hand just to see if it was tacky, if fingerprints were still showing and stuff. And if fingerprints were still showing, then I just waited a little bit longer. I don't have exact time frames of how long it took for one coat to dry. I work in thinner coats, so for me my dry time will vary, and I'm not keeping track of how long things take to dry, honestly. I'm usually doing other things as I wait for paint to dry, like I'm watching YouTube, I'm reading, or whatever. But anyway, moving on to the lazy gradient, I have here Hello Taco's Grape Expectations and Meltdown, those are the jellies, along with a sponge. And again, the polishes were sent as gifted PR, no obligation to post or create content. Now, the whole point of a lazy gradient is that it's a gradient that's done without theoretically a sponge, but the sponge is my security blanket of sorts. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking the blue / teal looking color, I'm doing the bottom of my nail first and then going in with the purple, and I'm overlapping the purple with the tealy blue that I just placed. And this is all happening relatively quickly. What you're seeing now is like kind of real time. I'm trying to work kind of quick before the polish fully dries because I kind of want the polish to still be a little bit fresh for me to be able to blend the two together, and that's what makes it quote unquote lazy. Low-key, I feel like it's a little more stressful than the sponge, but I wanted to try it. I don't think I've had much like lazy gradients going about, and I thought, why not? It should be okay, right? I'm also not going heavy-handed with it, but I have enough in the brush to where it makes an impact kind of thing. And with it being jellies, I'm slowly building it up. But before moving on to the next layer of the lazy gradient, I do wait for the first layer to dry, to touch and whatnot, and that's just me tapping on it with my other finger. Do I see fingerprints? If no, I may proceed kind of thing. But yeah, I guess when I think of a gradient, I want something that like transitions nicely, and of course this being kind of like I wouldn't call it my first time, but it's been my first time in a long while, lazy gradient, that I'm just like, I wish it was more blended in the middle. So that's where my sponge kind of comes in as like my last effort, just to see if it does anything. These jellies are very sheer, honestly, so that's why I thought they would kind of blend better in the lazy format. But also, I mean, I don't know if the sponge really did anything. It helped my brain, I guess, making me think that something happened, something good happened. After the lazy gradient is done, I'm going in with Piggy Paints. Now, this is a new water-based top coat that I purchased, and my goal is to kind of test it to see how it fares to what I would have otherwise used in place of Piggy Paints, and that would have been my Hello Taco Peely base. I'm trying to see if this acts as a nice barrier to the polish underneath and allows me to correct any mistakes that I make on top of the water base polish or on top of the Piggy Paints, because I can do that with the Peely base because acetone doesn't like remove it or anything. It allows me to fix up any mistakes that I do in my nail art without ruining what's underneath. Now, this is where the hard part comes in. These flames were not friendly, I will say. I mean, no fire is, of course. But the tools I'm going to be using is a silicone coaster. It's going to act as my color palette. Along with that, I'm going to be using a small detailed brush. And the nail polish of choice is Hello Taco So Toxic, which I did get in PR. I could use my silicone mat that I am using to overall protect my nail desk, but I don't know, it just makes more sense for me to be able to pick up a small circular thing and whip it about, I guess, and rotate it when needed versus the entire mat. At least that's my thought process. So what I like to do is prep the brush with the polish, and I do this by slightly shushing the brush back and forth, getting all the bristles coated in the polish, and then doing a drag out twist motion to remove the extra or excess polish on it. This is to prevent the bead of polish from forming near the tip of the brush. Now with air dry polish, time is not with us. It dries very quick, so you can also go in with polish thinner to loosen the polish and make it more workable. The polish thinner that I do have here showcasing is Holo Taco's polish thinner. This is also something I got in PR. I, however, sometimes don't really like to reach out for the thinner unless I absolutely need to. I just kind of give myself a new dollop of polish to dip my nail art brush in, and if I later on get annoyed of like the amount of polish that I'm wasting, then I'll go in with thinner. So it's all off 5s really, and it is what it is. Now for the actual flame nail art, I am doing outline flames, so it's a little different from a filled in flame. I think a filled in flame is a little bit more forgiving, so I did an outline flame because I still wanted the lacy gradient to be visible. Otherwise, you're not really going to be seeing the purple much. To start out the outline flames, I went in and did the letter U first, and then I dragged out the ends to make squiggles or waves. And with the pressure of the brush, it's really hard to kind of showcase it here in video, but I'm being very light with the pressure of the brush. If I want a thinner tip, I guess, of near the end of the U's where it kind of fades out, I lighten the hold of my brush and slowly lift up. It's hard to explain. I'm no expert. It's so automatic for me that sometimes I don't think about it until I am over here doing the voiceover for the nail art here. After I finished the letter U and did the little wave tips going upwards, I then kind of give a waist/hour figure, dragging the outer sides of the U, going in and out, flaring them out, and then I extend those sides into small peaks and then continue it all the way to the side of my nails. And the peaks are going to be the side flames that accompany the big flame. I hope that makes sense. I'm glad there's visual cues because oh my gosh, describing my nail art technique is low-key very hard. I'm trying my best. But what I essentially want with the side flames, the same thing as I did with the letter U tip, is exaggerate the waves a little bit, you know. And this is kind of where I'm hoping the Peggy Paints holds up. I'm gonna go in with my cleanup brush to clean up around the edges to make the waves a little more smooth, to make the points a little more pointy. With Peggy Paints being a water-based polish, when I had initially tested it to see if acetone removes the Peggy Paints, it didn't really, but it did create some weird like muddy cloudy cast. So I'm being very intentional in my cleanup here. Do you need to do this? Absolutely not. You can just draw, say shayylaaaa to however you've drawn it, and move on to the next nail or finish the art. I, however, am a perfectionist and a pretty bad one, and I understand my own flaw. And what my holy grail ride or die peely base has allowed me to do is be able to manipulate the polish, redo my design by taking it off with acetone and not hurting what I've put underneath the peely base. And that has allowed me to redo it until I'm satisfied. I understand that's a terrible method to some people. To me, I love it. I love that I can go back in to quote unquote perfect it to my standards. Keyword here is my standards. Now, after I've finished doing the central outline of the flame, my first layer of the outline of the flame, I do go back in to darken or deepen the line work that I've done, just because I was initially working light, but now I can trace back the design, make the polish more opaque, and pop, essentially. Anyways, I end up doing this to the other nails. I don't keep the big flame in the middle. I wanted the middle finger to have the big flame in the middle, and then the other nails will get the big flame on the sides, and yada yada yada. You kind of see it here in this little montage, I guess, that I'm doing. But yeah, I can't say for sure how long this design took because I don't time myself usually, and oftentimes I'm watching and doing other things as I wait for polish to dry. And like, time is an illusion when I'm doing nail art. It goes by so fast, but I know myself, I average out to like 3 to 4 hours for nail art, and this is just one hand too. But why does it take 3 to 4 hours? Hey, I'm distracting myself. I'm not paying attention to how long I've let polish dry. And we're going back to the whole perfectionism thing. That's why my nail art takes forever, and that's why I'm always the last one to finish in the group streams. There you have it. Now, there are some tools that help in creating a flamed nail art look. I've seen people use vinyl stickers or decal stickers or something. I see that some stamping plates have this look, I guess, and yeah, I could totally see this being more accessibly done. But I kind of have this pride thing where I like doing stuff by hand. I don't know. So now that I finished the flames on all the nails, I'm going in back with the seal glaze to seal everything in. I don't want any bleeding to happen if I just go straight in with top coat. So I'm using the DRK seal glaze here as a smudge-free top coat essentially. I'm only doing one coat of that. So once that one coat is fully dried, I go in with my preferred top coat. In this case, it is Mooncat's Speed Demon top coat. You don't need to use this top coat. You can use whatever top coat you prefer. But I really like the Mooncat one. For me personally, the Mooncat one holds the shine longest and it dries quick. It's in the name, but it doesn't have to lean. Yeah, it doesn't have to lean on it. So like, it gives me the quick dryness, but without the nasty toluene smell, and it gives me that nice plump glossy look. So yeah, this is how I did these outline flame, lazy gradient, velvet effect nails. I have no name for it besides flame nail art. I really enjoyed how these turned out, honestly. I'm like, for my first time doing outline flame nails, I think these came out pretty sick. And hey, Tyler really liked them because I already shared them over on my Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you maybe should. Please and thank you. I usually post my nail art photos on there more, but I guess you're not really missing out since I'm going to be posting these videos. But my nail art photos are stylized. There we go. Maybe that's an incentive. Anyways, I'm gonna kick it off to outro Yanelli. And that concludes the tutorial. Let me know what y'all thought. If this is something you would try on your own, yeah, let me know. And I feel like I struggled just an itty bitty bit with this one specifically because it had more like technique, I guess, versus just rubbing chrome powder on the polish or yeah, on the nail and whatnot. So to me, I felt like describing what I did for some reason is hard, especially in terms of long form. In short form, I can definitely like get those out there quick because it's very to the point and I don't really have to over explain myself. But in these long form videos, I feel like I'm over explaining maybe too much. I'm not sure. You let me know. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the nail art. And don't forget I have a YouTube community page where you can post your own nails that you've done, your press-ons, your dupe attempts, so on and so forth. Just keep it wholesome, keep it to the topic, and post away. And with that, thank you so much for watching, hang out with me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!